Happy Saturday. Today is stair day. I just did my whole routine, my little rehab recovery routine, my red light, my stretches, had the red light on my hip, everything. I just carved up. So I'm probably looking like I got some more water on me today. I'm about to get out here and get it. Today's theme is do you. Now, when I say do you, it depends on how people receive that, right? There's different examples of that. There can be the do you, meaning you're not somebody that falls in line with the way things are and you'll go against that. You're kind of like a free spirit. I don't mean that one. I used to do me when it came to that. When you was in the Navy back in my day, when I had joined, they would say, they would kind of like tease you and be like, you're a lifer. That means that you're going to stay in. You're going to stay in the military till either they force you out or you retire. I used to tell people that, man, you a lifer. And it was like projected out there like it was a bad thing until later when I'm glad I was a lifer because I got those retirement checks and those benefits, and some of those people, because I used to do it too, I just ended up staying in. I used to call people a lifer, not planning on getting out. I wasn't going to tell you I was getting out. I just wanted to be able to tease you because you had more time in and you had a long-term plan for yourself, and I was just riding the dopamine high. But people they used to tell people that, and then they tried to get back in later because they realized life could be hard if you don't have a plan. I don't mean do you in that aspect. I mean do you regarding the things you know you're supposed to do. But you got to stick to those things. You got to stick to those things long enough. For me personally, 8 weeks. It takes me 8 weeks to do something long enough for it to become a habit. That's just me. That's not a universal thing. That is not some standard. That's just me. Especially when it comes to my fitness, 8 weeks. And I started applying that do you, Mike, mindset in just different areas. When it came to my career, when it came to my health, when it came to my finances, I'm going to do me. There's a lot of great information out there. And you can literally pick what information you want to use for you. You put it in your bag. It's a part of your journey. But the best thing that happens is you'll start creating your own algorithm. I'm not talking the social media algorithm to where you send a picture of some shoes to your buddy and you're on social media, next thing you know, it's in your timeline. I'm just saying your life's algorithm. There are things I would no longer tolerate. There were things I would no longer listen to. And externally, that will start adjusting to you as well. People will adjust to you. Now, that doesn't mean it's always going to be roses and daffodils. Yes, if you're somebody that do you and you get up and you get after it, some people will be inspired by that. They will want the blueprint. They will ask you for insight. They might even consider you a subject matter expert, which I hate that term personally because I think people can always learn. Then you'll have people that don't care. They're doing their own things. They have their own chaos. They're doing them, and what they're doing is working for them. And then you have the other people. You know who I'm talking about. The naysayers, the doubters, the haters. The ones that when I talk about these on the video, there's always somebody that'll be like, man, you worry about people and this and this. Because people, I count on people to do exactly what they're going to do. They're going to be people. They are. And it's the people that will shift the whole culture. It ain't the building. I said in the previous video, you can work in the building. That building be falling apart. But if you're working with a good core group of people, it's an awesome job. And you can work in the latest, greatest, most newest building with all the amenities. But if you're working with some sucky people, that job is going to suck. Who cuts you off in traffic? The people driving the cars, right? And then we'll say, well, you don't have to be around people like that. What happened during COVID? Some people were suffering because they didn't have that personal interaction with people. It's people. And that third one, you will come across those people. However, your algorithm will lay the foundation for who you are. You ain't got to be out here fighting nobody. You don't. I learned that maybe 12 years ago. About 12 years ago. So this right here is a video. I'm going to let it run. It's about 2 minutes. It was just when I started doing like a lot of core workouts on my last deployment on board the USS Peleliu. And man, I was so dialed in during that time. I was really focusing in on school because I wanted to finish these 2 bachelor's degrees to get my master's. It was 2014. I knew I was retiring in 2018, 4 years later. So when I get home, I'm going to shore duty. I need to lock in. I'll be getting out of here soon. The military's not forever. I got to do what I got to do. So I still was in charge. I was the leading petty officer. That means that you're the supervisor of your division. We had about 40 people. So I had that. Missing the heck out of my son. During that time, I had just met my girl a year before. So she knew that I was gone. I was away. I think that was like a 9-month deployment. But I was so dialed in on my fitness because I'm out there. So I told you, like pain, playlist, pace, I was applying the 3 Ps into my deployment and what I had going on out there. So I was really dialed in on my macros, but I was eating tuna for lunch and dinner. I mentioned that before. Don't do that because you can get mercury poisoning. But the options were limited. So I told myself, if I want to see the result physically, I'm going to do this. So I did that. And I had already packed out my protein locker, which I shared on the previous video on what I had. And it worked out that way. Man, we were doing some crazy core workouts during that time frame. Just in that gym, getting it. Now, validation-wise, yeah, people saw it. Some people were impressed by it. Like, dang, I didn't know SH1 was doing it like that because I was 30-something. Then you had people that didn't care because they in the gym doing their own thing. But then you had people that had issues with it. What you doing all that for? It ain't that serious. All that ain't gonna do nothing. However, I was lean. And what I was doing as far as my core workout contributed to that. That's how people are. But because I started learning, like if you do it'll set the algorithm. Some of those same people that was questioning why I was doing it started asking me, what does that do? Tell me a little bit more about it. Because the algorithm, it'll adjust. People will start seeing that you're doing something long enough. If they're on that third option, if they're the ones that's doubting, they saying and hating, if they're in that spot long enough, they know they want to change, they're gonna end up at action. Some of them will remain on that side though. They will stand on that. So got home, and one of the dudes I was working out with was like, man, you should post that on Facebook. And I did. Then I started an Instagram page. That was in 2014. And it had a lot of support. Thousands of likes. Man, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. Man, And then what happens is once you start doing something that's might be impressive, they're going to compare you to somebody else. You ever heard of bar stars, those guys? Man, you should do that. So then you got the people, and I'm doing it just to share that I'm able to do it, and it helped with my core workout. So then you got the people that aren't doing any of it, and they start suggesting, like they're your PR guy or your manager, what you should do, because they want in on it. They were tagging bar stars, and you should do this and all this stuff. And then I started having family members. You ain't doing all that. What you doing all that for, man? What you doing all that for, nephew? It was the oddest thing. So I'm taking like something that I thought that was beneficial for me, that helped me see my goals, and I'm sharing it with the world, and it was a problem. I couldn't understand why that was, and I wasn't at that point exposed to social media and the toxicity of it at that point like that. I had no knowledge of it. And that's when you start seeing like the comments, man. All that stuff can't stop a bullet. Dude doing all that, man. I bet you he don't do legs. I bet you can't deadlift this much. I'm like, wow. But I just kept posting. That's when I started posting 2014. And it was just workout videos every day. And, I started realizing that you'll set an algorithm. And that algorithm will bring upon people that, they just are who they are. Now, me with fitness is visual. And I'm old enough to where I'll be 47 in month after next. When you can say something like day after tomorrow, week after next, month after next, meaning you still got time, it's close. I'll be 47 month after next in October. And I realize what I do for me allows me to see my results. I've been doing it long enough. I can stay lean year round. This morning, 188, 189, 10.6% body fat. Tomorrow, because this is my refeed day, it'll be 194. I'll be 10.4, 10.5. Now that's just going off what the human band in the pod tells me. I know enough about what I need to do for me, in order to see my results. I cannot speak for anybody else. I had somebody comment the other day, you're able to stay lean year round. I'm not. Understandable. I'm not telling you that we are the same, especially if we are not twinsies. We are not hooked at the hip, and we don't have the same blood flowing through our veins. I can't. I can only tell you what I'm doing, and maybe you will use it, and if not, that's fine as well. But I know enough about me and what I need to do and how I do me, and I don't lie to myself. I don't play that game. I stopped lying to myself years ago because it got me nowhere. It got me nowhere. You know, when you're lying to yourself and you know you're lying, that's one thing. When you're lying to yourself and you believe that lie, that's a whole different ballgame. And then you start lying to others and you're looking at them and you ain't blinking and you believe it. That's scary. I want no part of that. So yeah, fitness is visual for me. I gotta see that you're doing it. You ain't gotta be ripped up, shredded for me to know that you're taking care of yourself. I can see that. I am the visceral fat whisperer because I was once fat. So when I used to do what I used to do to have me in that body, I knew those features like around my face and my waist area. I knew I was doing that. And if I see that on you, I'm going to assume. I won't know because I don't know your medical disposition. I will assume because fitness is visual. We will not displace, not with me, we will not displace what I see based on the words coming out of your mouth. Because I'm not a fool. And I'm not even trying to be, conflicting about this. I'm just being like what as it should be. And I'm too old. That's one of the perks of being older and in shape. Right? You can't just sway me no more. I've been doing it long enough to know what's working for me. I think I look the way that I want to look some of the time. Yeah. I said before, body dysmorphia, when you've been extremely lean, like 8-9%, it throws you off. It throws you off mentally. Because you know you were able to get there. When you've been big, all that big space in between of 8-9% body fat to 25 to 30, and you got to adjust mentally. But if I know that if I do this and I do this, like I know I can get to 200 pounds if I wanted to follow the trend about victim weight and be about 11% body fat. I know exactly how to do it. I will close off my deficit a little bit, maybe get it to about 300 calories, a 300 calorie deficit, bump my carbs up a little bit. I really don't have to change how I lift because some days I still lift heavy, some days I don't, and just rock with that. It'll slowly start ticking up to 200 pounds. And my body fat will come back up to about 11, in between 11 and 11.9, depending on like sodium levels, muscle hydration, glycogen, things like that. Stuff that we don't want to talk about because all we know is subcutaneous fat. We don't even think about visceral fat. So the fact that I know that about me and I do me, show me that I have a good level of self-actualization. Don't get me into my Maslow's hierarchy of needs bag. Just Google self-actualization. It's just me. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can achieve. I know that I can be successful in this area, but also know what I got to do. And I don't be listening to nobody, man. Because sometimes you got to, I didn't do this 12 years ago, but you don't, when you are like doing things in a naive way and you start feeling the toxicity and people start telling you about that stuff, you're not paying attention to what you once saw, what you once heard. You're just like, man, why are they coming at me like this? So when people used to be like, man, you getting that lean, that's not healthy. Which they were kind of right. 8 to 9% body fat, if you're not competing, I wouldn't advise it. If that's your goal, let that be your goal. I wouldn't personally advise it. It was always achy. I remember one time I pulled my ab. I had to go to medical, and then the doctor dude was like, man, you got to hydrate more now because you're carrying this muscle. That's just a lot of strain on your heart. So I wouldn't advise it. But I'm sitting here with low body fat and somebody with excessively high body fat, in the military, mind you, is telling me that I'm not healthy. When we both wrong. My extreme low body fat, their extreme high body fat. We both out here borrowing time. But that's what people do though. So now I'm at a point to where, I ain't 8-9% for me, and this is going to sound totally, it'll be offensive. But it's easy for me now to stay in 10 to 12% range because I know what I need to do. And I do what I need to do long enough in order to see the results. I'll still have some of these same people man, you might want to get your body fat up because that might not be healthy. High blood pressure, high visceral fat, hypertension, pre-diabetic issues. I know cats that have had heart attacks that will say something. They just really can't help themselves. Are you serious right now, bro? And I'm still cool with people, but sometimes I allow the algorithm that I've created of who I am to resolve that for me. I had a homeboy come here, man, and he's kind of been like on the fence, off the fence, start, stop when it comes to fitness. Killing it everywhere else. But I told him, I said, man, if you get that down, ooh, right? Self-actualization. You just applying it in different areas. But if you telling somebody, because he wants to do these coaching seminars, and I was like, well, the first thing they're gonna see is you. That's me. If I'm sitting in the front and you telling me what I need to be successful, what I need to do to be successful, but you're not applying it to your vessel, I might walk out of there. I might ask for a refund. Nothing against you personally, because I know you. But if I didn't know you and I'm watching this and this person's telling me, hey, this is what you need to do to be successful, but they're not applying any of those principles and those morals and those thoughts to themselves, and the simplest thing, what you eat, what you're not eating, what you're drinking, I don't see that as a success. So I said, man, you got to fix that. So he came here, and if you ever come to my crib, you come through the garage. The door's on the other side, but you come through the garage. And he came through here, and we start talking about this lap machine. And I think it goes up to like 210-pound weight stack. He's about 240, 245. I'm being generous. We're talking about the weight stack. He was like, man, why didn't you get one with a 300-pound weight stack? I said, I don't need that. Man, I would have got one with a 300-pound weight stack. He has a garage. His garage is junky as heck. He's not successful in that area, by the way. Like, his garage is just a mess. And I said, why would you need that? He said, I'm just saying, man, more weight stack. I said, how many pull-ups can you do, bro? Here you go. He can't do a pull-up. So why would you tell me I need a 300-pound weight stack, and you would get a 300-pound weight stack, and you can't pull up 240 pounds? And he just looked at me. That's the type of friend I am, by the way. I'm sorry. And then we got to talking, and then he asked me, man, what's your max weight? Like benching. I don't do those anymore. I couldn't tell you. Anytime somebody asks me, hey, man, how much can you bench? I don't know. It's been a while since I've done it. And I'm a Smith machine guy now. I do keep heavier weight here. I still can do the 125-pound dumbbells. I still lift heavy here and there, but I don't know. At my age, I don't care about no PR like that. My personal record is how long I can stay lean throughout the year. It's a personal record to try to stay low body fat throughout the year. It's not normal, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying, if you walk outside and you look, even in the gyms, it's not normal. So me trying to prep up for a heavy lift just so I can post it on social media, which I'm not on anymore, won't do anything for me. Then there's a chance I can hurt myself. My PR is just trying to sustain what I'm at now. Man, if I got abs in 50, I'm going to be insufferable. I will get back on social media for sure at that point. So do you. The algorithm will filter in people, filter out people. You'll get some negative stuff. There is a downside to getting after it. And when I say get after it, it is not by design. I am not the just gym guy. I'm not just the gym guy, but I lead with that because I literally believe health is wealth. Being in good shape has opened a lot of doors of opportunity for me. There are some people that want that energy around because they know they can use it. At the very least, if it's in a professional setting and you're that person, they probably got a free on-site personal trainer, informal, that they can use. And they'll be, hey, what you think about this? And they know because you about that life, you're going to answer that question. But you're going to have some people that don't want that energy around because there's the assumption. People think you're going to be slapping cookies out of their hand in the office if you're going into the office. I'm not talking, nothing against entrepreneurship. I got to be careful with these because they always offend somebody, right? But nothing against entrepreneurship. But if you're in the office, you working your 9 to 5, you got that energy, and somebody's struggling with those habits, they're going to have an issue with you because your algorithm has set that up because you do you. And they're going to try you. That's all you eating? Man, I got to have this. Go ahead and eat your cookie crumble. Kate? I don't want none of that. But I'm not going to be somebody that's be like, enjoy your heart attack. No, I'm going to do me. Yeah, this is all I'm eating. If you got more questions, ask me. But yeah, and then I'll turn around and walk up out of there. And people will start knowing that about you. They'll want that around, but the algorithm that you set for yourself, it might be an issue. My last job, I got invited to this wellness seminar on campus. And I got invited a few times, I just never went. So I said, I'm going to go. It's always good to be able to go find out what you can learn as far as like, because I have my wellness program certifications. What can I learn that I can apply in our office? Or just some, pro bono information I can give somebody. I keep mine current and I like to learn, but what's the latest and the greatest, especially on a college campus, right? So I walk in there And on the right side, as soon as I walk in, donuts, sodas, junk. People lined up. I turned around, I started walking out. Nothing against what's going on here, but this is a wellness seminar. As I'm walking out, I think one of the leads, she stopped me. She said, "Hey, Dr. Brandon, where you going?" I said, "I think I'm in the wrong type of seminar." She said, "No, this is the wellness seminar." I said, "Well, what's all that?" She said, "No, it's just some snacks for people. This is a mental, emotional wellness seminar." Understandable. I said, "Okay, well, I got something I got to do." I'm not a liar, but I fibbed to get up out of there. But me personally, the whole time I'm thinking, man, like fitness, mental, emotional, financial wellness, it all kind of falls up under the same umbrella for me. I always feel better mentally, emotionally if I'm doing something physically, right? You're releasing those endorphins. I can't do that. I don't connect eating a bunch of junk that can have you feeling a certain way mentally, emotionally, by the way. I can't connect how that is going to help overall wellness. She never asked me to another one of them because I guess I'm not good at hiding my facial expressions. That my algorithm and how I do me did not agree with that. But that is normal. It is normal. When you do you, especially in just, like I say, don't be a one-show pony. Don't just be the fitness person. If that's your area of expertise, got it. But still, have knowledge in other areas so you can be resourceful. At the very least, if you got kids or nieces and nephews, godkids, little people that you can change. You don't want to be like, you can solve all problems with jumping jacks type stuff, if that makes any sense. Don't be a one-show pony. Get out here and just get after it in other areas. It'll set an algorithm for you. You're doing you. And then you'll start learning what works for you. What's right? What's wrong? You ain't just got to be listening to stuff. Some of these people, when it comes to fitness, they're coming at me on some double dutch stuff. They're trying to see if they can get in when they say it, because if I carry a decent look, then they're going to be like, man, I know he ain't about to buy this. But some of these people want to be the one. Man, I heard if you do this, this is what's going to happen. That might not work. It's out of here. No double dutch here. That don't mean I don't listen to great information. It is a lot of great information out here. Everything I did in my life, somebody else put me on. But I got to have the wherewithal enough to know who's actually using that. Somebody will give you some good information. You can use it and they not. Take the information. Get on your way. Don't take none of the other stuff, man. Some people can't tell you about an achievement without attaching their stuff. School don't have to be a thing. There's another disclaimer, but if you'll see, like on LinkedIn, you'll see somebody say, hey, I just finished my degree, associate's, bachelor's, master's, doctor, whatever your level is or whatever you have going on in your life, if that's your thing. And they're going to give you their stuff. And they're going to be like, all these sleepless nights and full-time job, and I had the kids. And I always get kind of by those because we all got that stuff going on. I was never that. I would always be like, hey, I'm starting this degree. Then I finished. What you need my stuff for? Man, I understand why people need it because people want to know, is it possible for me to do this with all these kids and working this job? But what if you don't have that? And if I want to try to make this as neutral and as broad as possible, I just need you to know you can do it. I don't know if you got kids. I don't know if you're working right now. You might just be a full-time student. So a lot of that stuff sets the algorithm for me. Does it come off as, who's he think he is? No, because I don't want to complain and tell you about my personal stuff I have going on and why I'm pursuing a degree. That doesn't make me that. That just means the goal was to tell you I started a degree, here's how I didn't pay for it, and I finished the degree. That's it. But when you do you, and that algorithm will be set, ooh. Hey, that's my sound of get after it. Ooh. They can't help themselves. They can't. Especially when you possess it. When you possess it and you got proof. I'll be everything that I say when I bring up an example, I'll be wanting to go back and show a photo or a video because I have that. It's just I have so many in the cloud and I just be wanting to post. I don't edit like I should. The resolution be off. These be ghetto. They be straight from the dome, hit record and go. But I got proof. But if somebody sees that proof on you, I mean somebody with just a certain level of, okay, I got to change. I got to get fulfillment. I want to see success. People will ask. And you share. You always share. You ain't got to be around people to share because you probably was at that point too. I was in a darker point and I knew this was one of the good traits, even when I was a real toxic, manipulative person, If I ever get to the point to where I can make an impact, I'm going to share. I'm just going to get information up because I already used it and it worked for me. I'm going to give the information up and I'm going to be on my way and I'm going to move on to the next thing. And I'm glad. I made a lot of major changes in my life, but I'm glad I stuck with that. I just share, right? Do you. And the reason I was able to do me is because I took what other people put me on, other suggestions and tips. I listened to it. I stopped lying to myself. And then it created an algorithm. And when somebody got a question about the goal, you share it. It might not be to their liking. And don't be going back and forth with people, man. Why are you going back and forth with people? Somebody the other day was like, man, you got up out of them gyms because gyms are going bankrupt because all the stuff that's going on with recording and stuff, huh? No. I started seeing it. But when I was going to the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning, none of that was happening. In San Diego, there are some influencer gyms. I just never went to those. So, no, I got the garage gym because I bought another home that had a garage. And the gym I used to go to was now, instead of being 5 minutes from where I lived, it was now 20 minutes. That don't go into my routine. And plus, I had just started the new job where I'm at now. And I said, okay, if I'm going to have a space, I'm going to get everything that I want in here so I have no distractions, nothing slowing me up. At the very least, if I have a bad day, I can come down here and get a workout in. That's why. The other day I was running the stairs and this dude stopped me and he said, hey man, why don't you go to the convention center and run those stairs? I said, why? He said, man, there's more people out there, better atmosphere. I said, this is a great atmosphere and why do I need more people? He got offended. I'm just doing me, bro. I'm doing me and what works for me. You can join, right? But the algorithm will set that because you're telling me I should go and do these stairs, but if you're looking at me and you think I'm in decent shape, what are we doing? Do you?